What's that glinting in the dark with metal? It's Wandering Monster! Roll initiative!
Hello, and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's test table, where we don't just play test games, we stress test them. As you can see from the absence of John Baltisberger, I will be your host with the most for tonight. I am Charles R. Bernard.
I'm Bridget
Ian.
Graves.
In third place is Ian.
I'm so used to going after Charles.
So, for those out there listening, there was a Bridget Brave, and then there was an Ian Servas. But
And then that makes
Mr. Paschke.
Most excellent. And tonight we have a very special treat for you, at least very special from where I am sitting, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Because tonight we will be playtesting a game that is live on Kickstarter now. You can find the links to support it in any of our social posts from tonight. You'll find it in the show notes. You can find it pretty much anywhere that you found this. But tonight we'll be playing the Dark Glinting with Metal. And I mention its salience to Utah because this game is from one Mr. Brian Evanson. And if you are a fan of sort of like sparse, weird fiction informed by horror, especially short stories, but also long form work, he is great. If you're a fan of artistic freedom, he is also great. And if you are a fan of tabletop games, then good news for you because he teamed up with Justin Sorois to bring us tonight's tale. The Dark Glinting with Metal is live on Kickstarter right now. You can find some art, some stuff about it there on that page. And without killing things anymore, I'm just going to hand it over to our forever GM, Ian Servas.
well, howdy there. So to kind of set the scene, instead of jumping right in and introducing characters, we're going to do a little bit of a transition where I'm going to provide a little bit of set and setting for our journey that we are taking together, and then I'll introduce our cast to introduce themselves. So, as we begin, in the untamed wilds of Twinland, there are places that just feel wrong. Not merely just the usual wrongness that's felt throughout these lands and that gathers and clusters of abominations. No, there are places where the land itself feels like it has begun to forget who or what it is, where reality has begun to curl at the edges, where instead of the baleful and ever muted shining and the black sun beating down, something else is occurring, something that cannot be understood. You have felt the nearly imperceptible but persistent tug of that wrongness caught in the tissue of your brain like a fish hook. You've come to realize, felt it all your life. For one of you, it awakens you at night, like the wails of a baby who, once you were fully conscious, you realize was never really there. For days, the ghosts of those wails has sliced through your sleep, and each time you awaken, you have felt the persistent need to throw on your clothing and just go. Just start walking in the direction you thought the wails were coming from. Finally, haunted by this imaginary child, you go. For another, it didn't come at night at all. It was more like the dried mustiness of a body long mummified, or a sudden, unexpected hot gust of wind sensed when you passed a certain street. When finally you pursued it, the sensation, barely something you hold on to, is threaded through the streets and alleys. You kept catching glimpses of a disembodied and evanescent eyeball before finally arriving at the city gates. How many times did you pursue it, each time coming to these same gates before you finally chose to leave your home and the city behind to continue your pursuit? For yet another, it was more like the wave of hatred that fell over you and propelled you despite yourself, directing your legs and filling you with the sensation that there was something that needed to be destroyed at all costs, and that you were the one destined to destroy it. And yet, now as you walk towards where your hatred tells you you must go, you begin to wonder, is it really hatred at all? Isn't hatred just thwarted love? Where are you going towards, and what will you do when you reach it? And more importantly, What will it do to you? Another of you had uneasy dreams, dreams of a darkness within which something glinted, a glimmer that persisted despite the darkness growing thicker and thicker. At first, you ignored this. What value is there in paying attention to dreams in a scorched land such as this? To do so can only lead to disappointment and despair. But then the dreams came again, night after night, insistent. That glinting was the glinting of something more than silver, and your greed grew and grew until finally you departed in the search of the horror that your dreaming mind convinced you was waiting to be taken from the darkness. Whoever you were, you traveled from town to town, the town smaller and smaller and further apart, each more miserable than the last until they were hardly towns at all. The land around you grew increasingly blighted. In the back room of a farmhouse that passed for a tavern, you met others driven to walk in the same direction as you, and you agree to travel together. It is as if you had been brought here there deliberately together, as if your meeting had meant to be a gift of the gods or a cruel trick of fate, or maybe both. Together you traveled on. The wrongness of the land grew worse. Heat emanated up from the ground for no reason, and you found it hard to breathe. There was a persistent smell of rot everywhere, not an isolated stench so much as a constant undercurrent, as if beneath everything you were seeing lay something dead and slowly rotting that extended for miles and miles. The land grew jagged and irregular, but not in a way that allows you to mark any part of it as distinct from anything else. Your throat became parched and began to ache. You could never get enough water. It felt as if you were traveling through the same stretch of broken ground over and over, as if this land was not real, was decidedly wrong, as if everything you were moving through was a lie. When you finally stumbled on a barely visible trail cutting through the dust, you rejoiced. It would lead somewhere. It had to. You could all feel yourself drawn towards it. You followed it for a day and a night, feeling as if you were baking beneath the absent black sun by day, feeling lost in the absent pale moon at night, until you saw at last a town. Or maybe not a town, a sorry, thrown together collection of huts that looked like a scattering of dice from a drunken god's hand. At the end of the trail, near a half-collapsed wall of a long abandoned farm, sits a man in homespun clothes. 2 crude boxes before him. Past him lies the poor excuse for a town. So we're going to walk that back 3 paces, or at least like about 2.5 days, to where you had entered into this tavern in the middle of nowhere and found yourself inexplicably drawn to one another and knew that you were all bound by the same cord of fate. So one of you miserable wretches needs to give up your name and what your condition is. Who amongst you will go first?
Not doing it.
I don't think so. Since you say wretches, I think it's only right that I get to go first. Because you see, I am Arvant, and my class is one that I have played in Morkborg before, which is Wretched Royalty. I come from a family that was originally of status. I've fallen on hard times. These other people are total dog shit. And interestingly, for someone of my station, my hands are thick and covered in sores, which is delightful. And better still, I didn't come alone. For those of you who have watched this stream in the past, I am very excited to announce the triumphant return of Ham Fund, my long-suffering manservant.
There needs to be like a sweet guitar, like a squealing guitar riff.
We'll work out some kind of Ham Fund cue, because this is like his 4th or 5th appearance on the show. But now I'm even more excited because I come astride a glorious horse. And by glorious horse, I mean a vain, prancing son of a bitch of a horse with a curly mane and saucy eyeballs. And his name is Eucephalus. Cephalus, the very good horse. Yeah, so you can call me Arvant. You can call Eucephalus, and don't call on Ham Fund because he'll just hide. It's better to sneak up on him.
No, All right. So we got that out of the way. So I will be playing. Now, I'm going to, like usual, mispronounce this. Orvarg? Orvarg? Orvarg. Orvig? Orvagi?
I'm gonna just be pronouncing it with the
That's a
question
long
mark.
name.
Whenever I
One
say
name.
it, it's gonna be with the question mark, like Arvarg.
Orgvarg?
You really have to pronounce it with a mouthful of marbles, or otherwise you're just like insulting your ancestors.
I mean, we don't have marbles, but we got some dice here.
Yeah.
Don't put the
Oh.
dice in your mouth. Don't.
Don't
Or
do it.
We must warn our young
Tasty.
audience. This
Joking
is a choking
hazard.
hazard. Do not do this without the supervision of a trained adult.
Does
That's
this mean,
right.
does this mean when Meatball gets here, I'm gonna have to put all my dice away so that they don't choke?
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
I have to do it for
Well.
my damn cats. I can't tell you how many times snacks will come up and just like, I'm gonna just totally choke on this isodecahedron. And it's like, all right, buddy.
Oh, guy.
Typical snacks. But yeah, so I will be playing a nihilistic mushroom guy.
Tell me what your
That's
character
also a
is.
question.
Yeah. Everything is a question. Yeah, so my character, he doesn't really care about anything. Except for his Levon Theron's story, which he is quite passionate about. But other than that, I don't know if there's much else.
Untrack mind.
Yeah.
Then I'll go next. I think it's Vogel. Well, I mean, it's my name. I can pronounce it how the hell I like, right? Vogel.
Yeah.
That's right. Take it over spin.
Yeah. And I don't know about these other yahoos, but I've been having these crazy dreams. I mean, crazy ass dreams of just something gleaming distantly in the dark. And I've started to feel like maybe whatever that is the solution to all my problems. So I think I'm real interested in like getting there. And something is telling me that this group of misfits is my ticket to that glinting thing. So I guess I'm going to follow this to its eventual end. I am a philosopher, so no, I do not have any money. I cannot buy you a drink. I am a philosopher. I was raised by a group of fanatics, so that was fun. No, I don't want to talk about my childhood trauma there. Just don't try not to startle me or tick me off. I don't think anyone's going to like who I become. If you do something like that.
Do you turn into the Hulk?
No.
Have you guys ever had a friend who's a little too easily startled?
Why? What are you trying to say? I don't know if I can handle that. If one of us can be easily startled.
No.
Charles,
By which
Charles.
by which I just mean that I have in the past, and I've exploited that trait ruthlessly. I'm a bad person, so yeah.
You know, at one point,
up.
you really do need to write.
You know.
So, all of you have found that there's something about one another's company that has drawn you to the other, and you, the three of you, well, Hambun doesn't really count, take up the road together, and after those awful days and nights going through this progressively deteriorating world, you come across this sorry excuse for a town, if anything, town in quotation marks, this dilapidated wall, abandoned farmhouse, and then a pretty worn out, like wrung out and left to dry farmer who is sitting next to two boxes, a hand on each one as if he's kind of resting on it with his cap
A
just over
heavily
his
laundered
eyes.
man of the land. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, like prancing up on Eustphilus, who, and like throws the curly mane, and I say, "Prithee, sir, what's in the boxes?"
The man stretches, and you hear various joints crunching and cracking, as if either too much arthritis or too many broken bones, old bones creaking against one another. He lifts his head up and he goes, "These here boxes, roots." He points to one, and it's marked roots, and then he looks and looks at the other, spits by it, roots, and it says rude roots next to it. Nothing healthier than a root for what ails you. And he looks at you. He's kind of got a little bit of a glint in his eye. If his teeth didn't have so much grime on it, you'd think they probably would like sparkle. Is he in the light?
So you've got roots.
Roots. And roots.
Are we making root beer?
What? Can I ask what makes the other roots rude?
He, for a second, what is does Vogel have an obvious gender representation
No.
or gender identity? Okay. If
Does that
then
make this more difficult?
well, he doesn't know if he should lean in with a little bit of chagrin or if he should feign a little bit of modesty. So one cheek gets a little bit ruddy and the other one grins a little much, and he goes, "Take a look for yourself." And he cracks open the lid, and you get this scent of like soured parsnips, but these roots are gnarled in such a way that they look very much like various forms of genitalia, most of them human.
I see. So we've got aphrodisiacs for sale. I'll take one.
Man knows his
Yeah.
quality. That's 2 silver a root.
All
Do
right,
you want
I'll
one
buy.
and he pantomimes various organs, figuring out which shape you want.
I'm a male identifying person, so I'll take the biggest, veiniest one that he's got, and I'll take one of the regular roots while we're at it, and while I'm passing him the silver, ask him if he knows the lay of the land, like the nearby landscape, knows any landmarks, can tell us where we are, where we're headed.
Mm-hmm. So when you hand him his silver, it's the 2 silver for the rude root, and then for the regular root, he gives you a whole dozen for another 2 silver.
Oh wow!
As you
Cool.
fork over the 4 coins, he looks at them curiously, as if he's not recognizing the minting of it, and he takes one and bites it. And you hear teeth crunching. He has an absent look for a second, swallows, and then puts the coins in his pocket. Yeah.
Harder than
Lay of the land. Well, that's part of the rub, don't you know? I mean, everything's been weird, and the land itself's been weird. So the lay is all wrong. It's laid wrong. Nothing has been right since the Lavin turns. She's come back. The world seems to revolt upon itself. It's a curious tale if you want to be hearing it. And he coughs.
I
You think
do.
you see a little tooth fragment as he puts his hand out suggestively for more silver.
Anyone else want in on this? I'm
yeah, I'll
former
take some
royalty.
of the non-dick roots.
He looks slightly offended that you explicitly say you don't want any of the dick roots, and he
Sorry.
sighs and shrugs as if he's still trying to size you up, and then offers you a dozen of unrude roots for the 2 silver.
Perfect.
Bridget, I'd like you to know that the next food item I order, I will be ordering non-dick.
Yeah, can I get the non-dick?
So is this like
calzone.
is this like a Buffalo Wings situation where like some people want just the flats or the drumettes?
I ate the bone.
Oh my god.
Just the flaps, please. Just the flaps. So he goes, as you grease his palm with the silver, he takes another look at it, goes to he starts to open his mouth, thinks better of it, and then just puts the coin straight in his pocket. And he goes, "Well, seeing that you're here buying all of my roots, I'll let you in on what's been going on here, because you're all strange looking, and you should know what you're getting into if you've come to this dark corner of the world." And his voice gets a little bit grim for a second, not just so bumpkinish. He goes, "Well, and all the weird happenings go back to Lavin Thurn. When she first arrived in town, wandering in all like you just did now, she claimed she was a two-headed basilisk priestess sent to recruit followers from our blighted and hapless hamlet." She spits. Another tooth fragment. "She didn't get anywhere with any of us, not as long as far as I know about. Then about a month ago, she done disappeared. Thought a little of it, but we Tweeland were incurious people, and these recruiting priests come and go. There'll always be someone new here who arrives to beat us and accuse of heresy. But was more surprising was 3 days ago she done returned again, according to Fingal. Most people around here call him Old That Thing. And she done crossed the rocky barren land and suddenly stumbled out of these desiccated hills. Her robes were in tattered, and she aged 40 years when we saw her. That Thing said so. At first, he thought it might be Lavin Thurn's mother. How is that possible? Aging 40 years in 1 month?" He reaches in and he takes out one of the regular roots, starts to chew on it, and through a mouthful of roots and spittle and broken teeth, and goes, "Well, that thing healed her. She turned to him. You can see right off from milk pupils that she was blind. He saw as well that burn in the center of her forehead was a brand the shape of an open eye. He fled, but she followed in the wake of the sound of him, stumbling on, and until last leaping, she reached town and fumbled her way to her hut and done passed out. And she's there in bed now, babbling about the dark glinting with metal. Not a shimmering field," she moans. "Necrotic one. The priests have lied to us." And she is, sounds like she's done lost her faith and found something more dark and terrible to replace it. Once a punisher of heretics and apostates, she's become a heretic and an apostate herself. And there have been done enough whisperings, murmurings around town that word has begun to spread. No doubt her fellow priests and priestesses will arrive soon and inflict correction upon her, as so to hammer close the door into darkness that has been forced in her mind. But what do I know? I'm just a simple root farmer."
What do I know? I'm just a simple country lawyer.
If he had both suspenders fixed, he would snap both of them, but he can only snap one.
the one suspender snap.
He makes
I love
a slight twang sound just so you get the stereophonic effect.
I love this guy chawing on tooths and tubers, like the two T's we call them. Getting your calcium, I thank him and.
He looks and he says, "So it seemed that you all done listen to my monologue, and I will here." He goes through the regular root box and pulls out a knife, not root, but yet amply girthy root for your horse. Such a pretty thing.
Cool. Hell yeah. Eucephalus is happy to take the root, since it's such a fine, high quality root. If it were just a root in the dirty ground, no way. But snob horse. Do you guys want to see that crazy pants priestess of the double basilisk?
Absolutely.
I mean, does it matter?
Then roll me a d6 and see if it does matter.
Ooh.
One of you.
I mean, I got a D6.
I got a 6.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
I heard a number first.
Aardvark pronounced with a question mark. He's the one who ought to.
I mean,
Hard
Let's see
work
what
with
he
a
rolls.
question mark. I like it. So he points, and he kind of points a little bit to the east, and then he thinks about it. You could see something like clicking and grinding, and he moves his finger a little bit more to the northeast, and he goes, "Yeah, that's where you're going to find her. Well, good luck." And he goes, "Well," looks over at his box of partially putrid and swollen rude roots, and he goes, "You don't want any more of these for the road, do you?"
Will we need them on the road? Which road? Are we going down
Yes.
that road?
You know the road, man. You always need those on the road.
He uncomfortably grabs some type of, you're not exactly sure what it's supposed to look like, but they're all supposed to look like some form of genitalia. You're more unnerved that you don't know what creature's genitalia it represents, and hold it uncomfortably suggestive. He goes, "Last chance to get these fine roots. I'm the only one who collects them."
I'm imagining like a whole cellar full of just like increasingly obscene roots till we get to like the real pick of the litter at the back of the museum. Um, I'll take the one that looks like a starfish's starfish off his hands, and
He- He's just like, and then he gives a little bit of this kind of like mischievous wink grin thing, and he refuses your silver, but kind of also just very uncomfortably touches your hand and goes, "I'll see you at the bar later, right?"
you bet your ass he will, and I do mean you bet your ass.
He points to the east and just a little bit south. He goes, "Just south of the town square."
When he says bar, I'm imagining like an overturned barrel in like a glade with like a bottle of moonshine and two dirty cups. Welcome. Welcome to the Tickle Me Elmo. I'm Elmo.
So, other places from here, as you kind of survey and get a look, you're on the edge of this crumbling wall and just a very abandoned field. You can see there's various holes missing in the ground, probably from where maybe roots or something were dug up. A little bit to your northeast, like close to you that you can see a different kind of hut. In this kind of weird gloomy light, there's a little bit of dim light coming from maybe a fireplace or some type of light source in it. From the south here, it looks like there's another type of farm estate. It's hard to tell what condition the house is in, but looks a little bit better condition than the ramshackle building that's at the end of the field that you're standing next to. And you can just vaguely make out some other shapes until you get closer to the town. There are various odd, sad structures that you can't quite tell if they're huts, if they're mounds of manure. It's hard to tell in this kind of dark, thin light, but once you start meandering in closer, you can get a better lay of, well, this weird land.
Okay. You mentioned the other hut that might belong to I'm blanking on her name again.
Jabba.
Yes, it's Jabba's hut.
Jobs.
Sorry.
Java, Lavern Thurn.
Yeah,
Yes,
Lavender.
Thurn's hut.
So you've got, in the nearest vicinity, you have one hut that was decidedly not Lavern Thurn's, and one that is in between you and the Lavern Thurn's hut.
You
It's
guys
just,
want to check?
you've got meandering roads that can go to either.
You guys want to check out all of them in like descending sequence, or do you want to just go straight to Lavin Thurn's place?
Let's mix it up. Let's not go straight there. Let's not just kick open the door and yell surprise, we're here. Let's go to the other place first. Get more intel.
Yeah.
So, as you are approaching this other hut, you can see that part of the front wall of this hut is collapsed and lies scattered on the path. You can tell it's been replaced by what looks to be like empty liquor bottles cemented together with mud. At least you hope it's mud. And from here, you can hear mumbling coming from inside the hut. You see that there's a door that's kind of covering up the part of the collapsed wall, and it's partly on this mud bottle wall, partly of this kind of brickish thatch composite material. The whole thing reeks.
I don't know. What do you think, Bridget?
It smells pretty terrible. I kind of feel like maybe we should. Let's search it. Let's just search it. Ugh, I don't want to think about what's in here, but I feel like we should search it.
I would like to. I have a science kit. I can science this. I can figure out what the smell is.
Okay.
I have a experience with mushrooms and molds. Maybe I could possibly maybe figure out what the smell is.
It's like 1 part Valley Girl, 1 part Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
Science finds a way.
Yeah, it might.
So as you are giving the smell with your trained nose, the first thing you smell is a shit ton of urine. And then after that, you smell a shit ton of shit. And then after that, you smell, something vaguely fruity. If in the science would tell you that this person probably has, from inside there, probably has very sweet urine.
So they're diabetic?
Sewage
Probably.
forward, but with a sugary finish.
Exactly. And of course, there's lots of different types of mold and fungus that you can smell kind of rolling from out of here, even before you need to do any of that accursed blasphemous science.
Oh, bust.
Okay.
Sean is suggesting that you sample things in the name of science just to make sure you know what these substances are.
With his tongue or with his sample kit? I want to know.
His tongue.
Obviously, you are all amateurs about this. The best way to truly know mushroom is to snort it.
So what are you doing exactly?
Difficult, I bet.
I mean,
I think he said he's going to snort a mushroom.
I pick up a mushroom, and then I take it out my science kit. I open up my mortar and pestle or whatever science equipment I have. I grind it up, and I just
Oh, see, I thought you were just trying to like wing that up your nose.
I mean,
So is this?
I powderize the mushroom and I snort it.
Okay, so
I think
this is
saying the fungus from the structure, because he did say there was mold.
I grab a mushroom off of probably poop.
Sure thing.
Probably.
All right. So go ahead and roll me a presence check.
Okay.
I bet it makes a peeling noise, that mushroom, and pull it loose.
Make the sound.
I have a 3.
So you feel a little tickle in your nose, and you think it's probably fine.
Okay.
And then you just start sheet of blood, and it's just out of one nostril.
Who hasn't been there?
And then, do you do anything about it?
Hey, guys, don't snort that. Bad idea.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a good tip.
I've got lard that you can put to stop the bleeding in your nose.
I think that might help.
So you're gonna just take a little bit of lard and you shove it up there, cut it, make a little seal. Okay.
Pop it right up.
So you smell old meals and after you kind of sub it up here,
And
it just
the myriad
sheets,
other
it
purposes,
just sheets
the
down the
myriad
other
purposes to
nostril,
which I've been putting
and
the
Ham Fun looks at you just gouting blood, and he just turns sheet white and he passes out.
lore.
Oh no.
So you're in front of this
As helpful
horribly
as ever.
smelly shack. Anybody else doing anything?
I mean,
Well, I'm
should we
fanning
try to
Ham Fund
rescue Ham
awake,
Fund?
but yeah, I'm trying to. I'm fanning him awake, but I'm not going near that thing.
I mean, I could do my thorns of comprehension. Try to figure
That
out what
sounds
happened
cool.
here.
Whatever.
Yeah, let's do some thorns of comprehension. You guys want to see that shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
roll me your presence.
Right.
Oh, did you already roll your presence D4 to see how many times per day you get to use your forlorn philosopher abilities?
I did not. It's like 3.
All right.
Okay.
So if I can go ahead and make your presence check, DR12.
9.
9. Okay. Now, keep in mind, you do have omens if you want to use one. Otherwise, your spell is going to fail, probably
Yeah.
because of the sheer amount of stench, but it's not going to backfire.
Oh,
So you can either let it fail, or you can burn an omen to preserve it.
I'll burn an omen to preserve it.
All right. You know, as soon as you use your omen, this has been a kind of the sepulchral sky that it's always been around here. There's no real storm clouds, but when you use your omen, there is this peal of lightning, and just this thunder just rolls out across the hills, and you see something in the after image that's going to haunt you for the next 2 nights. What is that image that you see?
It was my grandmother naked.
Covered in worms in the grave. So you are able to re-roll your presence check to see if you can cast your Thorns of Comprehension.
Okay, come on. Don't fail me. 7.
So you are so haunted by that terrible image. You see again this visage of your grandmother, worms across her face, and she just locks these dead eyes with you and just says, "Soon, the eye, soon," and then she disappears again. You
Well,
do
no,
know, even though your spell failed, you got a little bit of comprehension, and you heard that the person babbling in this hut is muttering to themselves over and over something about old wars, battles, something about comrades, bodies in ditches, terrible warm cries that no one should overhear.
Okay. Yeah, I think we might be dealing with someone who saw some battle. Did this. That's all I
Okay.
got. It was a very vague comprehending that happened.
Well, I mean, throw a rock and hit someone who's seen battle in this part of the broken world, you know. But
This is pretty far at the end, almost.
that's fair. Yeah. Interesting. Do we want
Not
to
to
brave
contradict.
the? Do you want to brave the shit shed to talk to the soldier, or I tell you what, let's see if we can convince Ham Fun to go in there and see what's up.
I
Have you
think
revived Hampun?
Yeah,
I've been fanning him for a
we
turn.
should throw him in there.
So the
Ooh, I've got perfect. I give Ham Fund my first rude root, the starfish one. That ought to wake him up.
Eucephalus whispers in your ear, and he goes, use the starfish.
Okay. Well, you know,
And he just
I
like
heard it.
uncomfortably is like, you know what you need to do.
That's a better horse than I could have hoped for. I'm slipping hemp on the starfish rude root. Yeah, that ought to wake him up. Well, that ought to wake his
You
ass
just
up.
start grinding this starfish-shaped root, and these roots, unlike the roots that you've gotten in a dozen for 2 silver, this one is partially fermented, and it just smells foul. So you've basically just smooshed a very soft, liquidy smelling salt all over poor Hand Fun. He wakes up, screams. Some of the root gets in his mouth. He then starts to vomit and retch. He passes out from exhaustion. The smell is still on his face. He wakes up again and looks at you blurry-eyed with like no recollection of just what happened. And he's covered in vomit and starfish root rot. And just looks at you and sees this smelly hut. It just says, "Boss."
Ham Fund. Be a darling and go knock on that door and see if anyone's home, will you?
Ham Fun, be a darling.
Yeah, and I think I actually have to. There's I have to do a roll or he hides. Oh no, that's only if I need to.
That's
use
if you're
the
drawing the sword that he's
Right.
carrying.
Yeah.
So you send him, and he's a little bit blurry, and he maybe was a little bit more cogent. He would probably hide and try not to do this. Very simple, straightforward instruction you've done. So he's a willowy waif of a man, and he goes and he just knocks.
As he's going there, I kind of like stage whisper like, "I'm rooting for you, buddy."
No.
Oh. So he just lightly knocks, the door creaks, and then just falls over loudly. A man in the hut throws himself up, and you hear liquor bottles going every which way and shattering, and he goes, you owe me a new door! And he just goes up and puts Ham Fund in a headlock, and he goes, you owe me a new door!
Hell
or
no,
you
I'm
could
not.
buy me what? Are you interjecting?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna let him bully Ham Fun. So
Okay.
Only
I'm
we can bully
assuming.
Ham Fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ham Fund owes us doors.
Yeah. I think that he was about to ask for a drink, though. So let's see. Do I have any on me?
As soon as you said a drink, he lights up and he goes, that would be a capital idea. He's still throttling Ham Fund. And as he's like throttling Ham Fund, the lice that are just carpeting his head are like dropping onto poor Ham Fund, who can't see what's happening. But his eyes are just
All
wide.
right. I'm just gonna throw some silver at this lunatic throttling my friend / employee, and hopefully a handful of silver will convince him to stop.
Sure. How much did you throw?
Well, given my character motivation, I'm gonna say let's start with 5 silver and see if that does it.
You're bargaining.
Yeah. So you scatter them, and he just shoves Ham Fun on the side and just dives for the coins. You can see, like, as he's kind of pushed Ham Fun out of the way, his face is scarred and disfigured. Underneath all that carpet of lice, his hair is salt and pepper. And as he's crawling on the floor, his whole body is crawling with lice, and Ham Fun is crawling with lice. And Eucephalus takes like 7 steps back, and
Yeah.
and Eucephalus just
We're gonna have to
whispers in
deal
your
out with
ear,
that guy.
"Fire, use lots of fire."
I don't think Eucephalus has my best interests at heart.
I trust him.
Fucking don't. You fucking ride me. I'm smarter than you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he probably is.
The miracle I haven't stepped on you in your sleep. Think about that one. Also, the sugar cube ration is running low. You might want to fix that. Just break Charles.
Yeah, just completely broke Charles.
Huzzah!
Like, I've never before in my life thought that having a talking horse would be awesome, but this horse's
What?
conversation has won me over. Like, yeah, if my horse was like threatening me and bickering about the sugar ration, I'd be into that. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna set Ham Fund on fire. But we are gonna get the hell away from this hut, I think, unless you guys want to go talk to the lice man. Does anyone have any like kerosene or anything we can use to delouse
No, I
Ham
was
Fund?
checking.
Yes, that's exactly my plan.
Cloth sack, rope, water skin. No grappling. I've got a grappling hook. I got
Beat
nothing.
the louses off of him with a grappling hook.
I
The
mean,
man,
small
the-
enough hook, enough time and patience, it could be done. I don't think I have that size of hook though.
the man picks
Like,
up
they can-
all of.
Oh, I was gonna reveal my ignorance. Please save me from myself. Go ahead.
Oh, the man picks himself up after finding all 5 of the coins, and wipes off some of the lice off of him, and goes, "Jackal,
Jackal?
Jackal?
jackal."
I mean, that's a pretty
Hmm.
cool name.
Like
Yeah.
the jackal? Like starring
Carlos?
Bruce
He
Willis?
gets right up in your face, and he goes, "Are you mocking me?
No.
Good. Then I'll s-" And he just shoves you, and then just starts stomping towards the one shacky-like construct that the farmer had gesticulated saying was a bar, and just tromps right towards it, just leaving lice in his wake.
So he's going to the alternate destination covered in lice.
I should have given that guy the starfish rude root.
I should have
they're
given
still
that guy the old starfish root root.
Yeah. Tale as old as time. Who has not been there, honestly?
Oh, I'm gonna start chewing tobacco just for fun. It's in my inventory and it doesn't do anything, so I'm just gonna chaw on it.
Are you starting it for like the first time ever? Like this is the day?
Don't swallow the
Yeah, don't.
juice.
So Hamfun gets up, and he looks thoroughly confused, and just shrugs.
So I'm starting to suspect that the rude roots might just be roofies. Like I think I just roofied
Well,
ham.
do you want to eat one?
Not especially.
Yeah,
Like I might come in handy at some point. I don't know.
How many more
What do you
root
guys
roots
wanna
do we
do?
have? Did Hamfun eat the entire rude root or just
Well,
like
you
a
s-
nodule?
No, you smushed
I've
the
got
whole
another
thing.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got another one though. I've got because I got one for him and I got one for me. So, and then there are 12 normal ones. I guess I'm alternating chewing tobacco and roots. You know,
When you
crunch, crunch, crunch.
eat one of the chew on the roots, you can tell that it honestly, as far as roots you've eaten in your life, it sucks, but you can tell begrudgingly it's nutritive, which you really can't say
Oh,
the same
okay.
thing about the tobacco. So them mixed together is not the best combination, but
The
you do have
tobacco-
energy and a craving for more.
The tobacco is at least a stimulant and
Yeah.
a diuretic.
It's like
So
tobacco.
like, exact. I was gonna make that joke. Like this is how tobacco got started. Yeah.
So you have from here, if you want due east, you would head towards the Lavin Thurns hut. From here to the east southeast would be the town square. From here southeast would be that bar, and then there are other places like past Lavin Thurns hut. You can see some type of scattered ruins in the far distance. You see what almost looks to be like a massive sinkhole. across town, way past the town square, you could see a collection of smaller, more tidy, cleaner-looking huts or tents. And then there's that bar that you could hear even from here, many paces away, loud carousing, but then the barking of echoing dogs? Question mark.
I'd be all about a bar where like dogs were hanging out. That
I
sounds
do feel like we
cool.
should check out Thurn's hut though.
Yeah. Yeah. Character motivation given what it is. Yeah, I definitely agree. She seems
Okay.
like she knows what's been going on around here.
So you walk past Jackal's hut and start going on a meandering dirt path towards Laventurn's hut. You can tell that this is a older structure, relatively sturdy compared to some of the other things around, but also old and sad, just like everything about it. There's no door, it's just a gaping entranceway, and it is darkened inside. You hear vague moaning and gurgling sounds.
Hey, does Ham Fun feel like checking that out?
Ham Fund turns and looks at you, and he thinks about it, like he's like muttering something under his breath. Politely, fuck you. Fuck you very much. And he's like still like in bits of just like, and he just starts itching furiously.
You know what? I'm going to excuse that on account of fleas. Conduct excused on account of fleas.
You say that?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
sounds like he's like looking down and muttering something else, but anyways.
Hey man, the horse wanted to burn your ass, Ham Fund. Be happy that I'm on your side, man.
Ham Fun locks eyes with the horse. The horse gives him a knowing look back, and they stare for a second. Like there's something very knowing between the two of them. And eventually, they
Those
just
two have
nod.
history. He's got beef with a horse.
I mean, who hasn't had beef with a horse at least once in their life? That's just
One of them bit me one time. That shit sucked.
see, just proving my point. Team
Yep.
Hand Fund.
All
I will
right.
go. I will go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I do or don't. What matters is that something happens. So I guess I will go. I'm going.
Going inside the hut?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a person, you'd almost say woman, but the person in front of you is so shriveled that most of their characteristics are lost under shriveled skin. You assume this is Laventhure when she lies on her pallet, shivering and anxious. She is muttering to herself, kind of alternatingly laying and curling into a fetal position and crying. And when you enter into the room, she flips over and stares in your general direction with these milky orbs for eyes that you can tell look like they're kind of rotting in her skull. And she,
Hello, sir, madam, them, they, them. Hello,
the dark
Counselor?
glinting metal.
metal.
The dark.
The dark.
You are
You?
from out, not here. I can smell the road on you. The dark glinting is beyond the hills, and you have come for it. Yes.
It what? What is what? It?
Yes, that is that is that that is that is that it that it is that that it
It
is.
is it? Is it?
So I have a theory. I think that there's a powerful microwave tower in this town. You had the farmer who half of his mouth was
Oh, that
smiling and
just
twitching, and the
that
other
just makes
half was
sense.
flushing with blood.
Uh-huh.
You've got
Damn
the
it,
guy that
science again.
flees. Yeah, and now
What
you've
you're-
got
always
like
science.
this
What you're sa-
conversation between these two. I think one's brains are like growing tumors. Like
So what you're saying
in-
is
in-
there is a 5G tower nearby, and everyone in this campaign
Yeah.
has COVID.
Right. No, I think
Yes,
we've all been
yeah,
vaccinated.
yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she begins to sniff the air, and she looks at you again and goes, "There are others."
Others. Who are the others?
That's my
the
question.
microwave towers.
No,
No.
the others.
There are others here now?
She is blind, and then she gives you a pretty dumb look. And she points to the companions behind you.
Oh, them? I didn't even know they were there.
She lays back down her cot and puts her back to you and just mutters, "Stupid."
I think this is a lost cause, gang.
And she,
I don't know.
You-
I heard Beyond the Hill. Okay, I see what. Yeah.
she's just like,
sneaky here.
and they're just that they aren't. They don't have eyes that can see. They don't know what life is like on the roulette, and the eye sees everything. She just begins muttering again. Are either of you wanting to do anything else?
Can we?
Or
Like-
are you stepping into the hut? Are you guys just because I thought you guys, the other two of you, were outside?
We are right
Well,
outside the door, I
Irvog's.
think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're outside the door, so hopefully we can hear what words are being exchanged.
Yeah, if you guys want
Although
to
I
step
don't know.
in,
I guess Sash.
step in.
Okay, cool. Let's just assume that we get the same because I heard Beyond the Hills, and like that's all I need to know.
Yeah, I heard dark
I'm-
glinting,
I'm-
so I'm gonna need.
Yeah, I'm eager to get me on that glinting, so let's said it's Beyond the Hills. Okay. Thank you, I say to her. And well, okay, like how many teeth does she have?
Which her back is turned to you, but you haven't really fully addressed her yet.
All right, I'm gonna come into the hut and offer her some roots for sustenance. And if they're too much for her teeth, I'm gonna offer to chew one up for her.
Sure. Do you offer her the regular or the root?
The regular. The
Okay.
root I'm saving for me. I plan to swing by that
she
bar later.
Takes the regular root and she gums it. You see that she really doesn't have teeth, but for somehow she is sucking this root dry like a Capri Sun. For international viewers,
Ugh.
that is a pouched beverage drink served to school
Yes.
children. And it makes this
It is
disgusting
in no way,
slurping
shape,
sound.
or- I wanted to just clarify for our international viewers that Capri Sun is not a juice beverage. It is
No,
like
I don't think there's anything resembling fruit.
neon
clear.
glucose water. Yeah.
It's clear. It's clear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no color to
Weird.
But it's
Fruit-
often
if you-
fruit flavored.
Yep.
Flavored.
Yeah. And delicious.
So these things are kind of like parsnips. So how she sucks it dry and throws a desiccated husk. She licks her lips a little bit too long and says, "Yes, the way is behind, beyond the dry hills and across the rocky barren land. But it's only if you're blessed by the eye." And she points at her brand, and bits of her skin come off as she does it. She just almost like pushes her finger through her flesh and says, the way shall be made manifest to you. But you cannot find it if the eye doesn't want to notice you. She just keeps pushing her finger into the meat of her skull. And you think you hear tapping across bone.
So
Nice.
you said her
I
brand.
asked her.
She had
Yeah, he
a
mentioned
brand
that
of an
she has
eye. That
a
was,
Okay, I missed that part. I'm sorry.
yeah. It was earlier
third
in
eye
the
brand.
farmer
Yeah.
exposition.
I asked her what we can do to get the eye's attention.
You need to be. You need to understand what it is. The land. And she pans her like rotting eyes everywhere, seeing seemingly nothing. The land is a giant's corpse. It's dead and dreaming, and the dreams are nightmares made flesh. Is it in our world? Yes, maybe again, no, but the eye must seek you if you're going to travel through it. The eye. Is it the dead giant's eye? No. Yet again, yes.
Cool.
Walk.
What do you guys think?
I can. She's clearly not going to actually offer us anything helpful. I'm sorry, it's all just riddles. Can we search her cabin?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead
I don't
and make
know.
me a presence check.
From the way that she's pushing at that head meat, the secret might be inside her skull. Like, you could check there.
You think we have to crack her skull open?
Crack and peel? I don't know. I'm not ruling it out.
2.
2 for a presence check for searching the room.
Yes.
So, as you search the room, this is a pretty old hut. The thing that really takes your attention is that there is a old, what looks to be like blood spray, like arterial streak blood spray that is splattered across the back wall. And you can tell that it was sufficient amount of strength that it's kind of dripped around and just kind of encrusted.
Nasty.
Anybody else wanting to search?
Yeah, I will do it. I'll take a whack at it. That's a
Oddly enough,
D20 for
she
presence
doesn't seem
check,
to
right?
care that you're like rifling through. She just is just kind of staring blindly at everything. And she's still licking her lips from the root juice.
Well, see, that's why I bought her love with the with my tasty root. Let's see here. Are you my D20? You are. Okay. That is a natural 1.
All right.
So, as you are oblivious, you get this weird premonition. You feel all of the all of your skin get goosebumps. In fact, it's such a rapid onset that Encephalus bristles at it and his tail flicks up. And you have this sense that somewhere beyond the hills is a giant eye that sees everything and sees how weak and corrupt and worthless you are. It sees through your marrow.
Cool. I mean, not cool, but cool that we got the eye's attention anyway. Or does it even notice me, or does it just like hand on past me?
If it does, all you can feel is a vague sense of disappointment, and that stings more than anything. So
I'm not angry at you. I'm just disappointed.
Urvog, you're going to search as well?
Yeah, rolled an 8.
8. So as you were tapping on the wall, Vogel was kind of looking at the blood spray, and their focus on it brought your focus over to that area. So you were tapping around the wall, and you hear a hollow spot, and you can see a hinge built into the wall. It's not really a hinge as much as it's like a stick holding like a chunk of wall that looks like you just pull it out.
Okay. So just
There's a bit of a hiss sound when you do that. And you see that there are
Uh-oh.
4 silver coins and then something gold kind of glinting in the light.
okay. I will pull that out to investigate it further.
So it's a gold tooth, and it seems to just radiate a little bit of darkness as you pick it up, and it makes your hand tickle and itch at the same time. Roll me a d4.
Ooh, fun. That's a 1.
So you feel like you really kind of need a nap. I mean, not that you need to go to sleep, but you feel a little tired, like your joints, like you finally feel the weight of all of those walks that you've taken to get here. And you feel a little disoriented. You feel a little bit weak. It's a little bit clumsy. And
Okay.
this tooth, as you're looking at it, it just really disgusts you. Like you feel like you should really fucking throw it away. Like throw it away where no one can find it. You don't want this thing at all. It sickens you.
Okay. Do
Throw it
now
away.
in
Throw
talk
it away. Throw it away.
I throw it at the old lady's head
Roll me a presence test.
towards her mouth.
It's a bold choice.
So that's a 7.
So you throw your fist, and you see something fly off from your hand, and it doesn't seem to really hit or interact with the woman. You
Okay.
yeah.
So I threw it away. All right.
Yeah.
I gave it a shot.
All right, so she's still muttering about dark glinting with metal, something about when the flesh was stripped from my body, yada, 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 giant's corpse, something, I am blind,
Well, that
something, I
flesh
love
strips-
those roots are tasty, also the world is dying.
Okay, that's
That flesh stripped from my body got my attention.
What are you saying something about that?
I'm just listening, and since she didn't pick that thread up, I'm choosing
She-
to pretend I didn't.
She'll pick it up and she'll resume with when the flesh was stripped from my body by the eye of the dark sun. But that's where the furnishers remade me. And she babbles about being there for years, and that the flesh consumes much faster in that realm, living round after round of life, death, and the roulette. But the eye said, seeing both blinded and opened my eyes for the first time. But it was worth it. It was worth it.
All right, I'll give her some more roots, and then I heard worth it, and beyond the hills and past the burning wasteland. So we got what we need, in my opinion.
So she begins to suck off the roots, and then she just says, "So you're going there? We'll go with
Bet your
you."
ass we're going there. Oh,
I know.
really? Cool. Yeah.
we made
all
a
right.
friend somehow.
Yeah. Is she able to? I know that she's only she's probably physically blinded, but somehow spiritually able to see. But the purposes of her not stumbling and hurting herself, does she want to hang on to Eucephalus's bit or Hamfun's lice-ridden coattails or something?
Like flat out, just usually tries to hold his horsey voice and tries to just mutter to you and just says, "No, no."
All right. In that case, Ham Fund, you're on deck.
Ham Fund
Yep.
gives you the most forlorn look you have ever seen this poor squire. More than that one time when your hemorrhoids were really bad and you really needed a little bit of attention. He just gives you just look, and she clamps to him, and he just sags under the weight.
Aw, have
And
fun
he's
on a
just-
date.
He
Yeah,
gives
see,
you
I'm
these biting,
setting him up.
bitter eyes. So Ham Fun will support, as he is supporting her, he will not be able to also be your sword squire.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think he's doing a more noble service this way. Even if we just take her out there to get her ancient ass flesh stripped off again, you know?
Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah, she's.
She's into it. Okay. All right.
I've heard that there are rejuvenation
I
treatments.
saw the eye of the void, and I touched it, and it touched me, and it blew the years of my life away as if it were chaff.
So your eye got touched and it blew you. I feel like there's something there.
Yeah.
Take me back to the eye.
They have those fishes there that eat the dead skin off your feet. All right, yeah, let's head towards those dusty ass hills.
What color is this old lady's eyes? You said they're like opaque, but like is there like an undertone of brown? Is it a brown eye?
Have you? I can see
not-
where you're taking that, but this is much more like a fish at the supermarket that's been left in the sun for too long.
So a stanky
All right.
eye.
So I heard hit the road. Are you wanting to look at any other of the buildings or encampments? From Laverne's Laventurn's hut, you can see to the east of here what looks to be a collapsed building of sorts. Immediately southeast from here is a town square. South from here is the makeshift bar. And past that well, I guess we can just do it in that order of operations. And anything else, any of those things that catch your immediacy, or just making a beeline out east towards the hills that she has been mumbling about?
Now, if I eat this rude root and go in that bar, I'm not going to come out for a day or two. So we'd better just go for the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you are passing by, you pass by a set of ruins. It looks like it was some type of shrine. You pass by what looks to be like a giant sinkhole that you can see that there's a bunch of collapsed huts in it, and there's also muttering coming from down there. But it's when you start walking past this, the very edge, that figures start marching out in a single rank and file from the encampment of more cleaner as this in this world can be. People in full armor and regalia, identifying them as inquisitorial staff of the cathedral of the two-headed basilisks. One of them, it carries a large warhammer as a staff that has the screaming heads of the basilisks, and he screams one word to you and just says, "Halt!"
Alto. Well, where are each of us at in terms of our relationship to the Church of the Basilisk?
That's a
Is that
great
a-
question. That is an ecumenical issue.
Yeah.
That's a Father Ted reference for anyone in the choir.
I've never watched Father Ted. I had an actual Catholic priest in my life at one point, so not in my life like, as a priest, I mean. So
Yeah, me and religion aren't so good these days.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I keep up appearances, but I don't want to really have them up in my grill. Who does with the Inquisition? How many of them are there?
That are following in tow. There seems to be one person in larger armor that is followed by like two attendants.
And that's it?
Well, immediately that are coming your way.
How big? I guess how big is the contingent of clean hut soldier people?
So when you look at to see how many huts there are, there's probably like 5 huts. But right now you see a detachment of 3 people. You think you see 2 more people in the distance. So perhaps maybe overstated by saying rank and file.
You guys think
Since
we
there
can
are
take?
3 of you, I'm wanting to balance things.
You guys think we can take them?
I think it's worth a try.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten into any shit tonight.
I guess we could.
Yeah, fuck it. I yell something about like how do you blaspheme against the basilisk? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, that basilisk looked at me and I'm still walking around as limber as can be. Suck it. And then I launch
And
myself
the
at
man
them.
with like a stone face says, "The basilisk suck nothing."
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. I am gonna wail at that dude with a battle axe. Wait,
Oh, great.
actually, yeah, I think I'm gonna do the battle axe. That sounds like fun. I haven't been an axe wielding character yet, to my knowledge, on the pod.
Okay.
So
So, as you are, all right, so go ahead and we will throw ourselves into in the throes of combat.
wildly, irresponsibly into
Wildly,
combat.
irresponsibly. So, I will have you all. Well, why don't you, since you are starting combat, roll me initiative to see if you go first or if the Inquisition goes first.
Oh, let's see. That's a 19.
Oh, sorry, it's a D6, but I will assume that
Oh, D6.
pardons, usually the old school, and plus your agility.
Well, that's a nat 6. My agility is a. So that's
All right, well,
7
that
total.
fantastic. So this person had just said halt, you said suck it, and then you let the axe fly. So you've kind of caught this person off guard. They have this look of surprise as time slows as your axe goes right towards them. Make me your attack roll, which is going to be your d20 plus your strength.
All right. Oh, that's not as good as the 19 was. That's a 3. Plus my strength
Now,
is a 6. Or no, I'm sorry,
so
that's a 0. So 3.
so you can either keep that, or don't forget you also have omens as well.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna burn an omen. That's a terrible roll.
All
Let's see
right.
if I
So
can't do
there
better.
is this icy, bitter wind that rolls from the east, and you feel all of the hair on your body freeze. Everyone else looks to be perfectly in a normal bit of weather, but there is literally ice hanging off of your eyebrows. Reroll.
It makes me look distinguished. That's 17. And since my strength is a
17.
0, yeah.
You lean into the chill of the grave and whatever lurks beyond the hills, and you let it flow through you. Your axe bites true. Roll me damage.
That's like 8, right?
For you, the damage
D8?
that you
Yeah.
get to roll is D8, correct?
All right. 7. I'm having a good night.
Oh, well, dang, and a half and 3/4. So you feel your axe bite right through his the cut right through his robes, and it bites into some scale mail below. You hear the sound of crunching, and blood splurts out from under him, and you hear the wind just get knocked out of his lungs, and he doubles over as blood just goes everywhere. He looks up at you as he catches his breath, and his blood's like sheeting out of his mouth. Says, "You are going to live to regret that." All right.
All I
So
heard was you're going to live.
next up, we're going to go ahead and do that round robin. So next initiative would be you, Urwag.
Okay. Knife. I have a knife. Knife is a good weapon, right? All right.
Mhm.
So rolling a d6. Is that correct?
So we're doing this run robin initiative. So you're just going to go ahead and do your action. If you want to attack, that's going to be D20 plus your strength.
D20 plus my strength. Okay.
That is correct.
While it doesn't matter, I've been around these people for at least a few days, and
Okay.
I guess it doesn't matter if I don't stab them. It doesn't matter if I does. So I might as well, right? Right?
I,
Wait,
you-
Who are you
in the
stabbing?
name.
I said, who is he stabbing?
I thought there was a.
So there's an inquisitor, and then
Yeah.
there are 2 lackeys supporting him, and then what? So what are you doing?
I'm stabbing one of the lackeys.
Okay.
In particular, the shorter of the 2 lackeys.
You hear him say, "Oh, come on, man!" As soon as you just lunge out at him. So roll. What did you roll for your attack?
I have not rolled yet. I have now rolled a 11 plus. You said it does
Strength.
not.
So that's
Oh.
plus 1. So that is 12.
Yes.
That is enough. So you see, in slow motion, this kind of pretty young-looking guy. You can tell his robes don't exactly fit him. You don't know how long he's been in this, and there's this look of slow-growing horror as you just lunge forward with the knife, and he wails like a stuck pig as you stab him. So roll me damage.
Okay. That is a 1 damage.
So he squeals, and then you pull back the knife after you stab him, and you see there's no blood. And you look, and he looks down, and there's stuffing coming out of his padded armor, and he goes, "All praise to 2-headed basilisks."
Motherfucker.
So at his revelation, he goes, "I will kill these blasphemers." So he lunges at you with his staff. So roll me your defense. So for you, Urag, that is D20 plus 0.
So let's say for a second.
Someone had to do it.
The
Someone
knight's
had to do it.
Maltus burger bargain is in effect.
Look, I'm playing a
Excellent.
mushroom guy, so I feel like I'm
Yeah,
allowed
yeah.
to do the Baltisburger bargain. If anyone here tonight,
Absolutely. Yep.
let's say
But
for a
you-
second that
See, the thing is, you don't need to bargain if you have omen. It's when you don't have omens that then you need to bargain.
I'm gonna take that omen. I'm gonna take the omen, and you'll never know how bad I rolled.
So as you use your omen, you feel the chill of the grave, and when you look down at your feet are completely swarmed up mid-shin and just maggots, and you feel them tunneling and burrowing through your flesh. So what did you get for your reroll?
I got an 8.
An 8. You're not sure if maggots have voices, just kind of like that weird, freaky horse that guy keeps riding, but you think that all the maggots are laughing at you. They just slurp up your skin and disappear, and you are just left with your feeling of failure.
It's not like it matters.
You could ask
other-
home box office Max Booth III about what kind of sound maggots make. He has some
I
opinions.
hear that
on
they
it. That's what
scream.
they
Is
do.
that what it
Yeah,
is? They
I've
yell?
heard. Yeah.
Some shrieking, the shrieking
Yeah.
maggots.
The other lackey turns and goes, "No, wait, you failed on your defense, right? That's what that roll was."
Yeah,
Wait.
it was. It was my
Yes.
failure. With my thing.
That,
Remember that
all
time I
right,
was trying to
so-
bargain? Let's go back to that real quick. So let's say for a second,
Are you out of omens?
how many?
Was that
omens-
your second omen? You have
That
2
was-
omens.
I have one more omen, and I'm not going to burn it yet. I'm going to
Okay.
save it for another 15 minutes from now when I fail another roll.
Okay, so he smacks you up the side of the head with his carved staff. Now, that's 2 points of damage. You, Orlog, have your padded cloth armor and your shield.
Mhm.
So you first roll minus D2.
Minus D2. So
Well, yeah, honestly, it's for sake of time, even
I
as
have,
a matter of
I have a
because
coin.
you
I
would
can flip it.
Well, you would. So it's a soak of minus D2 for your armor, and then 1 for your shield. So if it's just 2 damage, it's soaked total. So not only have you stabbed him and pulled out his stuffing, he's just thwunked you, and you absorb the damage. And for a second, this lackey has this look of ecumenical crisis on his looks as he's like seeing this exchange back and forth, and looks over to his boss, who's just like gouting blood from various places, and you see he's kind of questioning his choices. The other inquisitorial lackey turns to you and also, he throws himself at you, Arvant, for hitting my boss. And he lunges at you with his staff. And you can see this one just has a carving of a serpent around the staff. Roll me your defense. So that is D20 and +1.
Oh, that ain't good. That's a grand total of 5.
All right. So he thwacks you.
Oh,
And
whack.
he rolls 3 points of damage. Now you have mail armor because you are a rich hoity-toity person. Oh, I forgot. That makes your defense rolls even harder. So you definitely would have failed that. So you get to soak D4 damage. So go ahead and roll D4 to see how much you soak.
Oh, the one that I shouldn't step on. That's the one that I didn't get up.
I can also roll for you if you want.
Oh, no. I have been rolling so shitty. Let's see what happens this time. I found it. That would be a 4.
All right. So you can hear as this happens that Learn is muttering to herself, and she just says, "This wound will not hit you." And you get hit by this club, and you don't feel a thing. And she just kind of chitters to herself.
See, man, passing out parsnips. Try it. You make friends.
The priest or this inquisitor rights himself, leans heavily on his warhammer, and draws himself up. His robes are being soaked by blood, and he goes, "Repent," and this doling of a dirge bell as he swings his warhammer out at you. Roll me one more defense roll.
All right. One more defense roll. That is a 16. And then do I add anything to it? I think
you actually miss out of the way. He just sprays you with blood. So Vogel, you've seen this exchange happen. What do you do?
I think I'm going to have to jump in. I've got a club.
All right.
Good old club.
Good old club.
Nothing beats
helping humanity out since like 4
Right?
species ago.
Swing a club. You can defend a friend.
Oh, that's a D20. -3.
So that's a 7.
So you swing your club out, and who are you attacking?
Who's closest to me?
Probably one of the lackeys.
I'll take a lackey on.
So you just graze his hair, and he again just looks down, pulls his medallion, the 2-headed basilisk, and kisses it, and says, "Thank you."
So at least fuck his hair up a little. Do I at least get that?
Yeah, it's kind of greasy and weird, so this makes a whoop. It's a little bit like There's Something About Mary.
Nice.
So that brings it back to you, Arvant. My pardons. Arvant.
So like as much as I really, really want to kill the basilisk medallion kissing guy, I should probably finish off the one serious threat first. So I'm gonna take another whack at the Warhammer dude, the dude with the Warhammer. Let's see how we do. And the answer is a nice round 10. Yep, and my strength is +0.
Plus
so that's
1.
10. Or +1.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong sheet.
Yeah.
You are correct. You swing back at him, but he sees that he is drawing strength from his pain, and he moves faster than you might think. So that puts it back to you, Vogel. You've had this back and forth with one of the lackeys, and both of you have come away unscathed.
Bridget?
Vogel.
No.
I'm Vogel. Sorry,
I'm so
gosh.
sorry.
I
I'm
was
meant
like,
to say Ervog.
Irvog. I was
Sorry.
like,
Okay.
I was staring at Pashki. Both of you have you names.
No worries. Okay, so I'm gonna go for another stabby stab.
All
And
right.
it's this time it's gonna do about the same, actually, exactly the same. I rolled the same number. So
You know what? Just for the sake of that Baltusburger bargain, what number is that?
This time I rolled an 11, which I believe is what I rolled last time, unless I am misremembering on
No,
account of my
yeah,
beard.
then it would be a +1, so it would hit.
Yeah,
so yeah,
so
you
it's a
would roll.
12. Yeah. I rolled 11. Okay, cool.
So you made it sound like it was a miss at first, and I was like,
No,
"What's
no,
happening?"
no.
All right,
Sorry, that wasn't meant to be a Baltzberger
Gotcha.
bargain. That
No,
was
you got to remember which, like when he says what I rolled last time, it could have been one of two rolls because he used his
yes.
omen. Yeah. All right,
Fair.
cool. That's a hit.
Yeah, okay. This time I got a 4.
Okay, great. So you take your knife and you just gut him this time.
Oh shit!
You've put a hole in his armor and you just like thread the needle in and just gut him. And
I
he
did
just
not see that coming.
looks sad and disappointed, like his whole life has been a lie and he's wasted his entire existence, chastity for nothing, and he just collapses.
As he collapses, I look him in the eyes and I just say to him, in 60 years at most, no one will remember you ever lived. And then I pull it out. And then I twist it and pull it out.
wow.
Nice.
There's some type of
Excellent.
organ that comes with it. You could probably science it, but
Or pop it
Meh.
in your mouth. Hell.
Or snort it again.
Alright.
That worked out great last time.
Vogel, you you're kind of neck and neck with one of these other lackeys. What do you want to give another try with that
Yeah,
here,
let's give
rather
another
than
go.
club?
I bet I can
Alright.
swing it real good this time.
I bet you can.
I bet I
Swing it
can.
real good.
Oh, yeah, 15 minus 3, 12.
Yes, that is. Oh wait, is that after you add your strength?
My strength is -3, so that's 12.
Okay, cool, awesome. And you hit him for
Yeah.
D6 damage.
Your strength is -3? That
Yeah,
sucks.
my strength is -3. It sucks.
Yeah, so now,
I am not a strong man. I am a
I'm picturing you with your club just like, yeah.
yeah. The club is bigger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
and so damage, do you say? D6?
D6. Let's do this. Let's damage this thing.
So even with your -3 strength, you do
Okay,
6
So
damage.
it's a 1.
Okay.
So
This seems a
you
little more
don't
appropriate,
like
yeah.
how you've set his hairstyle, so you fix it by like creasing it back over his skull with
With
force.
a club.
And there's a sound of like when a hammer hits a coconut, and he looks at you and just, is that all you can do? So he retaliates by shifting his staff and pulling with both hands and then shoving you with his full force. So roll me your defense there, Vogel.
All right. Man, I can't imagine my defense is great either.
So that is basically D20 plus your agility, so that's +2, so it is better.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's an 11.
All right, so he still hits you with his staff. That is 4 points of damage, but you get your fur armor, so you get to soak D2 of it.
Okay.
Oh wow, I have way fewer max hit points than I thought. I'm walking around like I've got HP to spare, but I do not.
Okay.
So how much damage did you take total?
Total 4.
And then you soak D2 of it because of your fur armor.
Okay, yeah, so 2.
Okay. All right. So you take 2 damage, and you feel something loosen in your chest. Maybe you dislocated a rib, but you got more.
Yeah, I don't need that one.
Inquisitor pulls out a scroll. You can see that it is covered in blood, and his eyes roll back in his skull as he begins to mutter words. And the words that he begins to speak are just foul and terrible. And it is. Oh, interesting. Oh, wrong one. That explains it. So, as he begins to mutter, his hands shoot out, and lightning briefly dances on it, and then he goes invisible.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah.
You hear this like fizz pop sound, and he blinks out.
Oh, and unless he
his two
accidentally just like nuked himself.
Well, you're not sure because the two lackeys next to him just look at each other, and it's like, "Oh shit!"
He did.
So
Didn't
they're going to make a morale check because
was-
their boss just up and disappeared. Oh yeah, so they've well.
I'm picturing bosses I've had before, and like if a distressing situation hit, how they'd always just kind of be like, "Smoke bomb" and be out of there, you know?
Yeah. So the little guy just drops his staff and says, "I'm out of here," and he just runs, and his like hairstyle is still bad as he runs off, unless you stop him from running off.
Or fix his hair. Then his hairstyle wouldn't be bad while he runs off.
Since you were in next in initiative, Bogle, if you wanted to hit him again before he runs off, you're free to do so, or you can let him go on his own recognizance.
Come on, go ahead and bully him a little.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bully.
Yeah,
Let's bully him.
go for it.
So, I mean, clearly, I feel like all I could do is just like delicately whack him with my giant club and just sort of like,
That'll learn him.
yeah, just like ruffle him
Smack
up
him
a
in
little
the
bit.
ass.
Yeah, just
Smack him in the ass while he's on his way.
yeah,
Yeah, send him on his way.
just poke him real hard in the back. My club.
Is that what you're doing, or are
That's
you
what I'm doing. Yes,
gently caressing him with the club? All right. So, did you roll your strength?
I'm going to now. It's going to be disappointing. It's disappointing. I rolled a 3.
So you just try to give him a big like skedaddle and to like hit his hindquarters as he runs past, but you just kind of like whoop to whoop, and you just like throw yourself flat on your back, and Eucephalus just looks down and. Amfun says, "Oh, that could have been me." So you have dispatched the contingent of the two-headed basilisks, and Laverne Lavin just whispers to you, "Onward." Oh,
Ooh. Now, seeing as we have about 5 minutes left only, and we just exited combat, you guys feel like this is a stopping point, or would you like to keep going a little bit?
I mean, I can describe the next area if you want.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So beyond the town are the desiccated hills. Imagine 100 scorching, sleepless nights. That's the relentless exhaustion that these hills bring. A raw throat and the hapless rasp of lasting heat. There is, more than anywhere elsewhere, a suggestion of the sun here. It's a baleful eye, only ever visibly dim beyond the thick layers of haze. It shouldn't be as hot as it is, but it's miserable here. In fact, you see that the sand that is accumulating here is almost like ground minerals. It just seems to hold and magnify the heat, and everything around here is just withered. You don't see any creatures, nothing. Lavin just gives a hoarse whisper saying, "You don't want to travel in this heat. You want to go by night, or else you'll be a raisin in that scale mail of yours." You're not even sure how she knows that you're wearing scale mail, Arbon, but she knows. So if you travel by night, you're able to make your way a little bit less uncomfortable. It's still exhausting and hot, and you're starting to burn through those roots. One of those roots gives you just enough sustenance, just enough food and water for the day. It gets you through, but you can see you've kind of burnt through some of your roots already, and you're worried that you may have enough for the whole trip. At night, you can see heat still rises and waves off of the sand. The moon is enveloped in haze that burns above you, kind of like an inhuman peeled eye through a curtain. It is disregarding of you, seemingly to think of you as insignificant. I will have one of you roll me a d10.
Who wants it?
I'll do it.
We
I
don't
got one right
mind.
here. That is a 9.
9. Okay. So, as you are coming across a hill, you see that someone roll me a d4.
Ooh, I'll do that one. 2.
So there are two very shriveled men, figures, question marks. Their skin is very deeply tanned by too many nights under the sun. And what's really disturbing about them, the fact that they're naked and their skin is leathery and horribly wrinkly across their whole body, is that they don't seem to have any lips. It's just teeth. Like they've just chewed away the flesh around their whole mouths. And it's pulled tight across their cheeks. You can see every single one of their tooths. And they're muttering back and forth. And actually, make me presence checks.
All of us?
Yeah.
5.
You can get +2 Arvant from Encephalus, his ears perking up.
18 with my -1 for presence.
Okay, and you, Vogel?
I'm not Yuval, but I'm 13.
Okay. So you hear, Arvant, is that you've overcome 2 cannibals that have been debating which one should eat the other. And now that you've crested the hill, they are very thankful that you have come by and settled the debate for them, because they just reach into one of their folds. One of them pulls out a bone knife, and the other one just has these very long talons for hands, and they advance towards you, slathering at the jaws. They're so desiccated from being in the sun, it's just like sand out of their mouth. And they fix these hungry eyes on you. And you see that one of them has a necklace of human teeth that rattles. And they close in on you. And that's where we can kind of draw things for the night. You know that somewhere in the distance you feel some type of eye watching you, but you can't be too certain. So this game is still in its last couple of days on Kickstarter, so you can check it out. It has really cool art that Justin has been making. He's also posting it on social media, especially in the Talk Mork Borg Facebook group, so you can get a sneak preview of what becomes some very cool collage-based art. It's very evocative, and this game has all kinds of interesting things in it. As you can tell, it is lore-based, so give it a back and see what you think.
Yeah. Pat, if you probably have already taken us out of game mode, but
Yep.
again, that was the Dark Glinting with Metal. That's on Kickstarter currently. You can go back that. You can find the links on any of our socials in the show notes once this is up on YouTube. We will make it easy for you to find. You can also, I don't know, Google it in the worst case scenario. And that again is from Brian Evanson, a extremely gifted writer. If you haven't checked out any of his stuff yet, I believe the first collection of short stories I'm aware of his is called like the Tongue of the Not, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank on it, but
Avant.
great. Yeah, thank you. The Tongue of Avant. Yeah, and he's a gifted writer, and the art and design on this is by. Excuse me, I keep getting away from the
Justin
right page. Yeah,
Sorois.
Justin. Thank you. And this is published by Severed Books. So what do we have going on this next week? Well, for one thing, Mr. Pashke, which is to say the Charles who is not me, will be making a very special guest appearance, which is to say attending
Yeah.
WeeklyCon. And
Showing up, hanging out.
Yeah.
If you're,
Having
if
a
you're
good
there,
time.
say hey. Let's
Yeah.
have a beer together. Why not?
Do it. Go find him.
Or else.
Yes. If you are seeing this live on Wednesday night, then that's this weekend. If you're seeing this on Friday, that's tomorrow / that day. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
if you are watching live, we get to tell you happy solstice.
We do.
That's right. It's the longest
Ugh.
day of the year.
So make sure you take all your roots to the maple and have yourself a good old tussle.
Mhm.
Go outside, take all your clothes off, and get a deep leathery tan so that you can hide your bone knife in your body folds.
You know, I'm more of an
Um,
Equinox fan, personally. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Fair.
In interim, we have books at Madness Heart Press coming out. Pre-orders are available for Edward Lee's The Backwoods. Wrath James White's Everyone Dies Famous in a Small Town is available now. Gush by Gina Rinaldi, a collection of vaginal horror, is available now. And 1 week from the live version of when you're hearing this, so the 28th, I have a book coming out. It's my newest novel. It's called He Led Us into the Wilderness and Spoke to Us. It's a historical horror novel that takes place, a lot of the action takes place at Jonestown. It's also cosmic horror, and I think it's one of the better things I've written. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the Madness Heart Press Twitter page. You can watch for the link on my Twitter, which is @CRBernard, or any other number of places. Also going on with Madness Heart Games, we currently have available Odd Gobs. You can find that on the Madness Heart Games Twitter, which is, I believe, @MHP_games. And in addition to Odd Gobs, we also have Whispers of the Dead Saint, which itself is a Mork board. That one is by John Baltisberger. It is a novella that comes with a playable dungeon, a bunch of cool stuff from Mork board. It has a cover by... Yeah. Cover by Peter Nielsen and art by Simone, and it is pretty rad. So check that out too. As for this little show right here, you can find us on Twitter @WanMoncast, WANMONCAST. There we go. I can't spell. You can find pretty much everything of ours at wanmoncast.com. So that is to say, like blog posts, links to projects, including stuff that Ian has edited, occasionally, blog posts by myself, art by Mr. Pashke from time to time. So I'm going to make sure that we start posting that there because it's rad. And also, very soon, again, our calendar of upcoming games. So you can find everything and more that you could possibly want there. Am I forgetting anything, anyone?
I have a walk-in that I forgot to put on the sheet because it hasn't been announced yet, if I may put in a quick stab.
Please.
I will be editing Corpborg, which is a offering that is coming out, which is going to be a corporate dystopian capitalistic morkboard crossover, which is going to be really neat. So you should check for that. That's going to be announced soon, and we'll get you some more details. We'll post about it on the channel. But if you like the world we are currently living in, but you want a little bit extra spice, we got an orca for your yacht.
Hell yeah. Orcas and yachts, it's great. No matter who wins, we all lose. All right. Yeah. This has been Wandering Monster, America's Test Table. I have been Charles R. Bernard.
I've been Bridget Brave.
I have been a person that remembers their outro order, Ian Servas.
I'm Mr. Bashki.
And thank you
Doesn't
for
know.
coming on this. Yeah, and thank you for coming on this consensual journey with us. Until next week, I'm Charles Bernard, and John wasn't here. So there.
Spay or neuter your pets.
Yeah, do it. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, be responsible.